What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with that instant analysis. We're going to talk about the New York Knicks dismantling the 76ers. This game was over pretty quickly. The Sixers never could really get into function, never could get on the same page, couldn't defend, couldn't do nothing. This just was an embarrassment. This was just a give up game. I didn't really feel like they gave effort, energy, care, passion. They didn't even play right. They missed a lot of easy opportunities. They took a lot of dumb shots. Embiid was whining and complaining and not really doing nothing. He hasn't really gotten off to a good start. He hasn't looked like an MVP candidate. He hasn't even looked like a top 15 player this season. Last year he was dominating and doing whatever he wanted to anybody. This year he just don't look the same. He just don't look like he cares. He doesn't look like he's happy. He doesn't even look like he's out there trying to leave his imprint. This dude is turning the ball over, falling, collapsing, literally just throwing up stuff, looking for fouls, and he's just been playing like this all season. And the Sixers are not in the playoffs right now. They lose this game. They're not even the top 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. I didn't have the Philadelphia 76ers making the playoffs just because we know Embiid is going to miss games. And if this team is struggling to win with him, what are they going to do without him? This team do have some guys that can do stuff like Seth Curry, who has been playing well since the playoffs and has continued that so far this season. Tobias is still a wild card. One minute he looks like a starter, next minute he looks just like another player on the court. And then you also have Maxey. He's young. You don't know if he's going to have a good game or a bad game or a wild game either. Then you look at the fact that you have other guys on this team that is the same. They look like they fit perfectly sometimes, and then they look like they can't do anything. And this team just has a mixture of veterans and young players that's trying to prove themselves, or young players that have been with this team for a while and just trying to find their own identity on this team. They just couldn't find it tonight, and they just don't look that good. They don't look good offensively. They don't look good defensively. The best game I've seen them play was against the Nets. They looked confident, they looked hungry, and looked like they wanted to send a message, but they lost that game because they collapsed and they blew it. And if this team is going to play like this, Doc Rivers has to get some of the credit because you inspire your players. You're supposed to be motivating your players. You're supposed to be putting your players in a situation to succeed. And I'm looking at this team and they look like they're lifeless. They don't look like an NBA team for a 48-minute game, and that's a recipe for disaster and failure. So they have a long time to figure it out. They still do have enough talent to be a playoff slash play-in team, but it still do depend on can Embiid be motivated, can he be dominant, and we haven't seen that this entire season so far. And if he's going to continue to play like this, and he, on top of that, be injured, this team isn't really going to do much. Plus, we don't know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, when he's going to get traded, how long it's going to take him to get traded, and what they're going to get for him when he does get traded. So this team is just in an ugly, tough spot that they dug themselves in, they put themselves in, and it's their fault, and they should be the one that should be failing because their situation is all under their control and all of they're doing. So it makes sense why they're, collapsing and crumbling from being the number one team in the Eastern Conference to just another team in the Eastern Conference. This team is not a championship team. This team is not a contender in the Eastern Conference, and we seen that last year. Losing to the Atlanta Hawks, and you was the number one seed, and you had a stylistic matchup, and you had big leads in those games, and you found a way to collapse and blow them, just like we seen them against the Nets. I blame that on coaching. I blame that on personnel. They kept this team together. They kept the coach at this helm, and he was a problem with the Ben Simmons situation too. This team is just a nightmare. This team is everything you don't want your team and organization to be about. That's what they have been the last 2 years. Just absolutely terrible. But you got to give credit to the Knicks. This was a team that took this lead by storm last year. Julius Randle was able to continue to improve throughout the season, up in his assists, getting his rebounds, scoring, literally hitting threes and doing whatever it took to help his team win. And now they added more pieces. Kemba finally had a better game. He hasn't really had a signature game still to this day, but he was more confident and his jump shot was falling, and he really was letting the Sixers have it, verbally, for whatever reason that caused him to have those feelings towards those players. But you also seen Randall. He looks a lot more comfortable. He's not trying too hard. He's not forcing up stuff. He just looked like a guy that knows his game, knows the shots and the spots he needs to get to, and just going out there and consistently doing it. He just got to continue to be efficient, and he just got to continue to be consistent. It's easier said than done. This is his first breakout season, and now you just want to do it consistently throughout the rest of your career. He has made a name for himself. He's on pace to be an all-star again. I don't know if he's going to be on pace to be an All NBA player. We will have to see as the season go on. But he is a legitimate star. He is a legitimate player. And honestly and truthfully, this Knicks team is legitimate. You know, they have defense, they have shooting, they have more creators, they have more guys that can do stuff with the ball compared to what they had last year. There was a ride Randle and ride this defense as long as we can, and hopefully it's enough to squeeze out games or to win games. And now they can hit you from more different type of ways, more different type of styles, and then they have more bigs, they have more depth, and then you have the fact that guys are enthusiastic and really want to play, and it's just a good feeling. It's a good environment, just a good place to be at right now. If you're a fan, if you respect the Knicks, or you just want to see them turn around the ugliness that they've been in the season prior. And now it's just about seeing what Julius Randle is about. He had a bad playoffs, has really got off to a decent start this season so far. And the Knicks have too. They have one of the top four teams in the Western Conference record wise, and they deserve it. You know, they've been out there literally competing. You know, they blew a game, but they have been able to get back on focus and get back to handling their business. And they look locked in, they look engaged, they look on the same page, and they're really trying to accomplish a mission. And the question for the Knicks will be, can they improve from last year? Can they have a longer season? Can they stay healthy? Can they continue to defend? Can they, go through the obstacles as a team and weather those storms and be one of the best teams in the East throughout an entire season? And ultimately, can they win the playoff series? They have more weapons. They have more depth. They have the same coach. They're going to have the same philosophies. They just have a lot of improvements and a lot of internal improvements. And it's just about building and building and building until you can get over that hump and possibly win the title. So this step is just to have a better record, finish in the top four with home court advantage. And obviously, you definitely want to get out of the first round, and that's why you want the home court. That's why you want, to build this, consistency, build this function as a team, and have the right mentality each and every game, whether it's the playoffs or not, just so you can be ready, you can be trusted, you can be battle tested for the playoffs, and just get ready to go to war again. But just, they have a lot more to offer compared to what they was last year, which really to me was a one-trick pony. And that's why I had the Atlanta Hawks beating them, and they ultimately did in quicker fashion than what people thought. And now this year they should be a lot more different and a harder and tougher out. Now we just have to see what they're going to be. So the Philly, they was going up. Now I see them going down. The Knicks, I seen them go up and had a breakout season. Now I see them as a legitimate team in the East. Do I see them being a team that's going to win it all? They're trading a player away, especially elite level player away. But they gathering assets, they gathering players to be able to acquire that player when it comes, and they do have the cap space because they have a lot of contracts and a lot of young pieces too on this roster that they can maneuver to get that other scorer, that others, wing or guard to go with Randall and really be a legitimate threat or really a legitimate title contender in the conference. That they are a legitimate team in the East, like as respect wise, but I still don't look at them as a team that can win it all. Not yet, but they acquiring the right pieces, getting the right front office, getting the right coach, getting the right players that work hard, that want to play, that want to compete, that take pride in playing in New York, embodies what it's about, embody what they're trying to do, and literally play the right way, play together, and try to go out there and execute, but also try to go out there and be tough, be physical, and at the end of the day, just be mentally tougher than their opponent. And that's what they was tonight, and that's what they was throughout a lot of last season. Now it's just about figuring everything out, continue to be smooth, and just trying to be able to be better than what you were last year and take a step in the right direction to ultimately trying to get a title back in New York. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but so was getting to this point. So was getting all the way to a point where you are legit in the NBA, and that's where they currently are right now. Look at all the years it took just to get to this point. Now you don't want to go backwards. Now you want to continue to build the right habits and the right things like they're doing now, and try to break through year 2, 3 years from now and bring a title to New York, or at least get to the conference finals or the NBA finals, and just continue to build upon that until you can break through. Hopefully, we don't know what they're going to be. We don't know what they're going to do in the future, but they're building the right culture now, and now it's just about having that consistent for years, and we'll see if they can be a legitimate team in the East for multiple years. They set themselves up to be. Now we have to see will they live up to it. Last year we didn't see it coming. This year we noticing them. We know what they're about. We know what they're trying to do. And now it's just about doing more than what you did last year. And we'll see if that's what they do. Other than that, Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about the Sixers. Let me know what you guys think about the Knicks. And at the end of the day, enjoy the night. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Do y'all thing.